today we're meeting with Cozy Joseph, and Cozy is the chairperson. Hi. Cozy is the chairperson of the Gaskov Clergé Foundation, and the mission statement, the mission of the foundation is, I'm going to read it for you guys. The Gaskov Clergé Foundation exists to perpetuate the legacy of Gaskov Clergé. The foundation is a non-profit philanthropic organization established to promote health, sports, education, and sciences in both the United States and Haiti. And the Gaskov Clergé Foundation is committed to empowering individuals and will carry out its mission by, one, establishing both domestic and international programs, scholarship funds that assist deserving individuals who are pursuing academic excellence, I love that word, in the sciences. Second, developing resources for preventive health care in Haiti that encourage the philanthropic participation of physicians, nurses, and other allied health professionals, along with the corporate community. And third, fostering the mental and physical development of young Haitian athletes by providing support and assistance in developing the necessary infrastructure to prepare these athletes for competition. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I was only aware of the medical side because I did volunteer my time with you one time when we were packing up all the medicine before a trip to Haiti. Mm-hmm. I was not aware of the rest. Well, we got great stuff to talk about here. Thank you. First, how are you? How is the family?
Family is good. I am well. I am well. Thank you. And thanks for having me here. Surviving COVID unscathed. Yes. So far, yes. So I'm grateful.
Yes. This is what we all can say. Thank you that we're doing well. Yes. Yeah. So I wanted to meet with you today because I know you personally, as well as I wanted to learn more about Gaskov Clergé Foundation and also to share with our community. So what can you tell me? I know you're the chairperson. What can you tell me about the foundation?
It's so funny. I'm listening to you reading our mission statement, and it brings me back to 22 years ago when we all sat at a library in Maryland and literally spent a whole day and came out with the mission statement. And we haven't changed one word about it. We are an organization that is very true to its mission. And as you're reading, it's like my mind is racing on all the things that we've accomplished for each of these three different aspects of the organization. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. But let me just kind of take a step back a moment and tell you a little bit about how we started. Okay. Basically, we started the Gaskov Clergé Foundation really out of grief. Okay. My oldest brother, Gaskov, was at a party on Friday. He was taken to the hospital on Saturday. And on Sunday afternoon, right around 3 or 4 o'clock, we were told that he was gone. Oh, wow. And it turned out that he had cancer. He had cancer of the liver.
And he didn't know?
He had no idea. He had no idea that he actually had cancer. Okay. So that's what the biopsy revealed. And needless to say, he was the life of the party. This guy was, I think, so many women, like men crush, he was the life of a party, very friendly, very compassionate, had friends from all walks of life. And, quite honestly, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. It was a very painful event. So
I can imagine, because within days he was gone.
Yeah.
That must have been hurtful.
Yeah. Very hard for everybody who knew him. So after we came back from the funeral, we decided, hey, right after he died, the outpouring of sympathy was so much. Everybody wanted to know what to do. And we knew that we were taking the body, we knew that the funerals and everything else was going to happen in Haiti. So we told people to hold off, do not send flowers. We're going to start a small scholarship fund in his name at the school where he was finishing his PhD. And then, that was it. So we went off to the funerals, came back, and decided that we were going to, like his friends and his family, were like, okay, we're going to put this foundation just to carry out his legacy, because the emotional, the sympathy that we were getting was overwhelming. And we felt that we needed to help channel everybody's grief, like his friends, his families, his school, his schoolmates, his students, his professors. We felt that we really needed to channel all that into something that was just going to carry out his legacy. He was big on education. Before he died, he was at the verge. He was all but dissertated for a PhD. He was big on sports. Okay, so we decided that we were going to, provide support to young folks who are into sports, kind of help them stay off the streets. And he was also, and we decided that we were going to do the medical part, so that, we can do a lot of preventive fairs, because we felt that if he was spending a little more time paying attention to his health, maybe he would have known that he had cancer of the liver. So we decided that we were going to do a preventive health aspect. And also because he had so many doctors, so many friends of his who were doctors. So I'm happy to say that from the education aspect of it, we've been giving scholarships to deserving students in Haiti. We have about 110 students on our roster every year. Right now, I want to say that we're up to about 17 or 1,800 scholarships. And those students are graduating as nurses, agronomes, engineers, and doctors. And we also have some who are graduating as lawyers. So, it's really beautiful to watch the children that you've actually sponsored grow into, fully functional members of society. And I will tell you that we do focus on children who show a good aptitude for school, right? But don't have the means to go, to pay for their education. So that program is thriving. We also, the health program just literally exploded. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We wanted to do small fairs. So the first one that we did, we said we're going to see 500 people and, and just kind of take some medication and see 500 people in 5 days. Well, it turned out that by Wednesday, we started on Monday. By Wednesday, we were already at 1,500. And by Friday, we had to close the doors. And the lines were just like huge lines outside of the church that we were operating. So that's when we realized that, wow, there was really a big need for this. And, this is our community here. This is the town where we were born. Okay. And for there to be such a big need, we felt that it was really our duty to serve our community. So we continued with medical missions until not until, but we've always known that that's not the right thing to do. Okay. If you're doing a educational medical fair, that's wonderful. But when people start to depend on you, right, on your yearly medical mission for their primary source of medical care, you owe it to them to find a way to offer continuity of care for them, which is why 5 years ago we joined forces with Forward in Health, which is another organization that was doing similar things to what we were doing, and we built this world-class, very modern medical center out in rural Haiti that's that's taking care of those people who would come to us every year. Now they have a place to come every month, every day. We take care of a lot of the chronic diabetic and high blood pressure patients. So now,
how is that going for everybody during COVID? Is it still open? I know Haiti is not as affected as everybody else.
It's still
everywhere else.
It's still open. Yes, I mean, the last report I saw, for the month of January, we had close to 600 people. Last year alone, we had about 19,000 patient encounters. So in 2020, we still had 19.
So, you are in the area that you are, like close to Lekai, right?
Yeah, it's in Lekai. Okay. It's technically in Lekai, but it's a rural section of Lekai.
Okay.
It's called Fred.
For Fred. Okay. So people probably, if you have that many patients, so people are coming from far to come to see you.
All over the place. People come from all over the place. Some people walk for hours to get to the clinic so early so that they can be the first ones in, so that they have time to go back home. We have people from all over the place.
So there are no other hospitals in the area or clinics?
There are. I
haven't been in Haiti for so long.
Well, there is a general hospital, but there isn't enough. Okay. Even with the clinic, there isn't enough to meet the need of the population. And a lot of the clinics, I mean, we're a nonprofit organization. So the clinic is also a not-for-profit clinic. We charge the patients a very minimal fee, and we subsidize pretty much almost everything, because the people who are coming to us are expected to be those who really cannot afford to pay a doctor. Okay. So that's the part of the population that we serve. Not to say that if anybody who comes to the clinic is seen, we don't turn anybody away. Whether we think you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter. You're seen and you're taken care of.
Okay. So everybody that show up, everyone who comes that day, that shows up on one day, everybody gets seen, because I would see the pictures and I would see the long line, and you make sure that everybody gets seen on that day.
Everybody gets seen, but I will tell you the long lines that you see are from the medical missions that we have. Sometimes we do medical missions, and we haven't done medical missions for a while because of the way, Haiti is right now. Yes. But the good news is the clinic is there, and it's local people working there. Okay. It's not a bunch of people who are being imported, or who can cancel their travel, their travel plans.
Who have to travel. And
so the people who are, what we're doing in effect, we are empowering members of the community to serve their community. You see what I mean?
That's perfect.
That's pretty deep. That's deep, because those people themselves were literally taking them out of poverty, right? Because we pay them. They're hired staff. Okay,
so you are providing employment and a livelihood for the local people.
Absolutely.
To the clinic.
24 families. We have 24 staff members, and basically 24 families. And what we do, we pay for their children's school. So the education program pays for their children's school, so they don't have to worry about that. And we also cover their transportation so that they can, come to the clinic. But literally 24 people out of poverty.
That leads me to ask, so this is a non-profit organization. How do you raise funds for all of all of those different facets of the organization? You provide, you have to have a staff, you provide for your staff, you provide for the community, you're helping on the medical side, you're helping the children who are showing they are academically gifted. So where do you get all the funds how do you raise funds?
Well, I'll be very honest. 2020 has been rough. We have not raised any funds at all in 2020 because of COVID. We haven't really. The whole virtual thing, I think it's perfectly fine for you and I to have a conversation like this. But the whole virtual event, fundraising event, hasn't really spoken to us.
Have you tried one? It didn't work, or you haven't done any?
Not really. We haven't really done. we haven't really done one, although our fundraising team is trying to establish one. But I will tell you that 2020 we had no fundraiser, and basically we're using the organization's emergency funds to
continue to work,
to survive.
Okay.
And
especially to pay the staff too.
Yeah, it's drying up. It's of course it's drying up, but we also have our partner who also kind of puts almost half of the expenses for the clinic. So,
okay. What do you mean by partner? You have another organization?
Yeah, we joined forces 5 years ago with Forward in Health, which is another organization. Who was doing the same thing we were doing. So they cover half of the clinic's expenses. So, and we cover half. So,
that helps.
But it's we have to get back into the fundraising mode. But let me tell you something, Isabel.
Yeah.
I believe that this type of work that we're doing is really divine. And for some reason, God always provides for us.
He's always watching. He's always watching.
He's always watching. That's why I tell people, Gaskov Clergé Foundation is not about me. It's not about any of the board members. It's all about us being instruments of God's love, okay? Because I really think that he is using each of our talents.
Yes.
Okay? He's taking them and putting them to use for a good cause. Okay? And we see that in the way that somehow everything just keeps happening. You know, we didn't last year around this time. I mean, not around this time. Last year around April. Yeah, around this time, March, April, when this happened, we were like, I was like, oh my God, how are we going to survive 2020? Because everything is at a standstill. Well, guess what?
Yes.
We survived. But all of our funding, other than what our partner organization puts together, all of our funding comes from fundraising events that we do. We usually do 4, one in Florida, one in New York, one in Pennsylvania, 3, one in Florida.
Yeah, I've been at the one, remember the one where my kids played. That was in Wellington?
Yeah.
Was it Wellington?
One, they played, no, in West Palm.
West Palm, because I'm trying to remember the place. I know it was in Palm Beach County. Yes.
At Hilton. Yeah.
Okay.
And they also played at Broward because we had an event at Broward.
Okay.
So that was wonderful. So that's how we raise funds. We raise funds from the Facebook, fundraisers that we do. And then, what we've been encouraging people to do is to make monthly donations. Doesn't matter if it's $25, $10, $100, whatever you can do on a monthly basis kind of keeps the base going. Okay.
And that was my next question to you. I was going to ask you, how can the community, if anybody would like to support the organization, not the organization, support the people, I should say, through the organization, or what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, we do
the website.
We do have a website, www.gaskov.org. That's the best way to support us, because the donation.
And I'm going to post the link also on right below this video as well, so people will have access to it.
Yeah, and when they go there, they'll find the different ways that they can donate. You can do it online. You can send a check. You can Zelle. You can WhatsApp. I mean, not WhatsApp. You can Cash App. There are many ways you can.
You make it easy by giving them different avenues to do it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
And the people who help the organization, because you have a lot of people who volunteer their time, especially when you have mission. I don't know when the mission can go back to Haiti, because
everybody wants the missions back. Okay, everybody wants the missions back, and I'm like, okay, we will go back. We'll go back. Yes. But I just have to make sure that I can move everybody safely, because it's a big production. It's a huge production.
How many of you go when you go? Like the last time you went, how many of you came from out of traveled? And also, is everybody from the US, or people are coming to the mission to help the mission from all over?
We have folks, very few folks come from Canada, but we have folks from different states in the US. And then we also pick up volunteers in Haiti, local people who decide that they're going to, they're going to volunteer with us for a week. And so we pick up. But the last time, the last mission we had about 102 volunteers. That was
wow. That was a big one.
We saw 4,000 people in 1 week. That was like madness.
Wow.
But,
and the people who go with the mission, are they all medical, in the medical field?
Another aspect of the organization. So we have doctors. So we recruit the doctors, we recruit the nurses. Not doctors, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and the nurses. So that becomes the core of our clinic. And then we recruit medical students. So medical students get to practice tropical medicine with the doctors, and some of them do get credit for it. And then we recruit high school students. And I will tell you that
in Haiti?
No, here. High school students here who travel with us. And I will tell you, I can count at least 7 of those students who are now doctors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So they were obviously influenced by the work that they were helping.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. I didn't know you did that. I thought everyone, because when I went, I think most of the people, not when I went to Haiti, because I never been at a mission with you. I went to help with the medicine. We were packing. I was packing. Yeah. So, and I know it was fun. So if anybody wants to help, whether if you can't travel or not, you want to help packing when there is a next mission, definitely can use the help. And we make it fun. It's a bunch of us doing the work and then having fun. When I went, I thought like everybody or most people from the organization were from the medical field. So it's good to know. I didn't know that.
The majority.
What?
The majority.
The majority is. Right. I love the idea of the high school student. I really do.
Yeah. So we have the high school students, and then we have a supporting cast, which does like the logistics, like, help feed the volunteers. They do translation. They work with the foreign doctors to do translation. And kind of keep the clinic, because it becomes too big for one person. I can't do it all.
Oh no, you cannot. You need a team.
Too big for one person. So I have to kind of scale it. And then
yes. You have to delegate. There is no way you can build such a big you can help so many people by just keep putting it all on your shoulder. You can't do that. You need to have a team. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing work. Congratulations. I'm sure Gaskov is looking down at you guys and say, you guys did good on my name. You did really good. That's a blessing.
So I sure hope so.
Yes.
But the silver lining for me is how his death really kind of transformed my life into a life of purpose.
Okay.
And today, today I think about him every day. I think about him almost every minute. My email has his name in it because of the organization's name. But it's always from a place of joy. It's always from a, wow, you died for a reason, dude. I mean, what a blessing. So I know losing someone so young with so much potential is a tragedy.
Unexpectedly on top of that.
Unexpectedly, but in reality, it was really a blessing in our lives, because his death really transformed all of us who was around.
I must say, you turned it into a blessing.
We did.
Yes, you all did. And that's what makes it such a big deal. On top of that, it's yes, you grieve, it's because you're gonna miss him forever, and yet you use that grief and turn it into a mission. That's very admirable. And so when you're doing the fundraisers, I know I've been to one, like I said, when my son had played at one. how do you promote the fundraisers, and what type of fundraisers do you always do? Parties, or do you also do other things as well?
Well, we are trying to shift our fundraising strategy. Okay, so right now we're working with a grant writer. Okay, who's we're trying to tap into some grants. We've submitted a few. We haven't received anything yet.
Okay.
We are planning a virtual fundraiser, but it's not going to be a gala. It's going to be, a lot of people are asking for updates. So it's going to be a way to, just like a conversation like this, but more around the data, more around, hey, last year we touched 1,900 lives, and here are some videos for the, for the people's lives that, for the people whom you've touched their lives. It's going to be more around our accomplishments. Okay. And how we're doing and how we manage to to survive. And I'll tell you that frugality is really what made us survive, because we were just mining every penny. That
helps.
And
you got to do what you got to do.
And here in the United States, we have a board of volunteers. Everybody volunteer their time. We don't have a staff. Okay. So we don't have a lot of overhead here. But to answer your question about fundraising, we're planning on doing a virtual event around the 24th of April. Okay. So we'll be putting that on all the social media and sending out emails. For our events, it's mostly database, email database, and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
And I do hope you will promote it on our page too. Absolutely. Feel free to do so, because it's if any so people can have access anywhere and everywhere.
No problem. Thank you for a lot. Thank you. That's very generous of you.
Oh, I look at the page as our page. I know sometimes when people are referring to it to me, they said your page. I said, no, we are a family. It's our page, because I really created it for us. When I did it, it's like, how do I help us promote each other? And how do I help us give some love to each other? That was the whole purpose, to elevate each other and celebrate each other. And with ultimately, like, that love will somehow touch Haiti, and touch all of us, because we are Haiti, so that's how I look at it. And talking about the group, I want to ask you, what do you think about it? What are your thoughts, and what can we do to make it? I just shared with you the intention behind it. So what do you think, and what can we do to fulfill that purpose?
Well, I've been following you I've been following the group when it was probably maybe 50 people. I don't know.
In the beginning, you're a founder. You're one of the founding members.
Since you started. So, and what caught my attention about that group is the positive aspect that it focuses on, kind of highlighting your regular excellence. You know what I mean? You don't have to be working for the President of the United States to be recognized on your group.
Correct.
Capture something that someone is doing good, and by definition, excellence means outstanding, something that's very good. It doesn't mean fame or high status or So to me, I think you captured the essence of excellence and highlighting others, giving others a pat on the back. My God, we all need to do that for each other. Really.
Yes.
We
Thank you.
Need to do that for each other, and I'm thankful for you taking the time. I mean, that stuff takes a lot of time.
Well, girl, I had to learn to manage my time.
Yeah, for you to kind of be so generous with your time, to do that for others. I mean, it speaks volume. And what I'll tell you is just like, thank you, and keep doing it, And
what can we do to grow to the next level? Because I do I do think about what can I do. And there was at one point, I thought there was nothing else that I could do to re-engage people, because I had noticed there was a lack of engagement. And I had actually made a mistake on on the page I had blocked. I had no idea I did that. And I kept saying like, why are people posting? And then somebody said, well, we can't post. And I said, oh, okay, let me go see what I did wrong, because I wanted people to post. And so I do think about it a lot on how can I get it to the next level, meaning how can I really, what can we do to really bring the group, first of all, to increase the members as well, and increase participation. And also, because when we increase participation, we elevate each other, we celebrate each other. We are all over the world. We have Haitian all over the world. I was telling one of the first people that I actually had a candid conversation with, that I had a friend one time who was in Japan, and then he sent me a picture of a Haitian restaurant in Japan. And he said, I had to take and he took a picture of himself in front of, he has a friend.
We're everywhere.
He said, if I had told you, you would not believe me. I said, take a picture of me in front of that Haitian restaurant in Japan so she can believe me. I was like, wow, we're everywhere. So it's like, I would love to, so when we are all touched and inspired, like I'm inspired by what you're doing, it makes you think, what else can I do? And then it doesn't have to cost money, because what I'm doing, it's really an investment of my time in our culture. That's how I look at it. And so what can we do to continue that and then grow the I'm trying to find my word here. And I'm sorry?
Grow your audience? Or
yes, grow the audience and then grow the influence. That's the word I was looking for. The influence, so they can take it and then go influence their own world, basically. Right. Just specifically for our native land. You know, it's in chaos. I've been looking at Haiti in the news. It's not looking good this month. I know it's on and off, but it's not looking good. Any ideas?
Well, social media is it's an interesting game. Let's put it this way. I will tell you that I started, along with a few other phenomenal ladies, we started a sisterhood in the same aspect, with the same mindset that we don't feel like there is a true sisterhood out there of Haitian women. Like, when you look at the Deltas, they're sisters, they're bonded. You know what I mean? When you look at the Links, they're sisters, they're bonded. I don't feel like we have, actually it wasn't my idea. It was like, Saji idea, where we feel that there is a need for us to kind of be sisterly with each other. It's not a network. It's not a network. It's a sisterhood. Yes. So we decided to start that, and we're having the same challenges. And our approach really is simple. We're going to curate the content. Everybody can post, but we have this phenomenal lady, Natalie, who does like the daily post. She curates the content and she intentionally posts. It's very well curated. Every single one of her posts has a meaning. Okay, it's meaningful. You can open up go to the group and you'll find something that speaks to you. Okay, and then our approach is that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It took us 100 years without a sisterhood. A true one is not going to happen just like that, right? Every day we put our best foot forward and we try not to compete. We try to collaborate with others. So
I love that.
So maybe and we collaborate with anyone who wants to collaborate with us. Any other woman group can post on our page. Doesn't matter. We're all in this together. We're trying to do this together. Okay, and the work is so much that there is really no room for competition.
Yes.
So, collaboration with others who are doing similar work that you're doing, maybe that might be an advice. And then don't lose, just stay the course. Be consistent and just keep doing what you do. I mean, 3 years ago, you didn't have 1.3. I mean, right
now it's I think it's about 1,300. Yeah,
1,300. 3 years ago, you didn't have 1,300 people. And remember, in social media, it's not. I know that for you to start making money, the numbers matter. But for the work that you and me are doing, it's not quantity; it's quality that matters.
That's exactly what I see with this group. It's not about the quantity. Like when somebody mentioned like your group can grow, and I do want it to grow. We actually were 2,500, and Facebook sent me a message 2 years ago because we grew very fast at the beginning. People kept inviting, and then before I know it, I was at 2,500, and then Facebook emailed me and said, we are removing people from your group because they're not interacting. Just like that. And I went back to 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And I said, oh my gosh. So I have to regrow. I have never heard that. I was stunned when I received that email. And then I went and checked. It went down. So now we are starting to grow back again. So that's why I said, okay, I don't want to lose. I don't know if since Facebook changes policies so often, I hope that policy is gone, because I know every group that you have, not everyone will be active on it. Some people check once, they could check once a year. Yeah. Some people get in and out of Facebook, So I said, I hope that policy has been changed and they don't do that anymore, because now I'm growing again. And the way also we grow is, I've always said like it's by invitation only, because I wanted every person to know one person in the group. So that's why I have said that at the beginning. And I very, very rarely allow anybody who's not invited to join, because I have to look to see what is it that you have to offer based on the questions, if they answer them. Mm-hmm. And then I also want to make sure, because I also want to prevent spammers. I want to make sure they are Haitian on their page. I check their culture. I check to see if they are for real, because there are people who request to join in. They are not for real.
Right.
Because you can tell they're not Haitian. They have no information about themselves. They just joined Facebook a day ago. So it's like, no, those I just delete. But that's the idea. And then which is why I created Candid Creoles, because I wanted to have another way to engage the participation, and also for us to get to know each other. Mm-hmm. Because you are telling me things about Gaskov that I didn't know. I only knew the medical part of it. I didn't know the rest, and you're doing a phenomenal job. That's amazing, especially helping children who are academically gifted. That's huge. Because that's something that I have come across a training that is being taught by the owner of the real estate company I work with. And then that's something that I also want to offer, and I'm going to be posting about it. So it's really good. It's really great.
We can probably collaborate on that. But I'll tell you, last year, when came time for the budget, for us to kind of realign our budget, we didn't have funding for education. And our board members decided that, hey, we're going to keep these kids in school, and we're going to pay for it. So each board member picked up their own, alma mater, wherever they went to school, they picked it up. Mm-hmm. And they paid for it. And some of them didn't go to the school. Then they're like, oh, no, I'm keeping 25 kids in school. Put me down for 20. So that's how we managed to keep the education program, because, our board members kind of stepped up and said, hey, we're not touching education.
Yeah, they need it. Because without education, what's going on in Haiti right now has a lot to do with lack of education. Mm-hmm. We know that, because when you don't have an education, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You absolutely don't know. So I want to make sure I stay on target with time. It's important to me, very important to me. So I'm going to wrap up with 3 questions. And there are 2 questions. If you could give me one word for each, the first 2. And the first question is, what's the one word you can describe life or your life as you see it?
Purpose.
Purpose. That's a powerful word. That's a powerful word. And what's the one word you can describe Haiti?
Unconditional.
Tell me more. I want to make sure we get it.
I believe that us Haitians, we need to start loving Haiti unconditionally and put our heads together to bring it back to the beautiful, rich, wonderful nation that it can be.
And I think, I'm sorry?
We need to stop looking at ourselves, okay, and kind of start thinking about Haiti in unconditional terms, right? And just kind of take care of our business.
Take care of our business.
Haiti's our business.
Like so many great minds have said, don't ask. And I know I can relate to Gandhi said that, Kennedy said something similar, Obama said something similar, is don't ask what Haiti what's in it for me when it comes to Haiti. What can Haiti do for me? Ask what can I do for Haiti? That's unconditional love.
That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
What can you do for your country? Absolutely. And I think if we could look at Haiti from that point of view, we will be at a different place today. So let's work on getting that change. Absolutely. And then my last question was, what's your advice for all Haitian? I think you just answered that, unless you want to add to it.
Well, my advice to all Haitians is that despite what's going on right now in Haiti, do not turn your back away from Haiti. Haiti is ours.
Yes.
Okay? Haiti is our roots. And the solution to Haiti's problem lies in all Haitians' hands. And that is Haitians living in Haiti and Haitians living abroad. So whatever's going on right now, it's a lot of noise. Yes. Let's do something to get rid of the noise, but let's not give up on Haiti.
I so appreciate that answer, because it's true. It is so true. We could not complete that conversation with something else. It's perfect. Because when we say, I'm not done with Haiti, I will never be done.
I will never be done.
Never be done. That's when we can start the work.
But that doesn't mean that I have to accept all the crap that's going on right now.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like that noise that you call, like as you call it, it's not gonna last. It has to go. It has to finish, because nothing lasts forever. So there has to be an end, but it starts with us.
That's right.
It starts with us. We are the problem and the solution.
Yeah, I like that.
It was a pleasure, my dear. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I pray that your work is continue to be blessed. And I see a little kitty. That's your daughter?
My son and his cat.
Who was that? I didn't see who it was.
That was my son and his.
I just saw the kitty. I didn't see who that was. Oh, yeah. So thank you again. And it was a pleasure sitting down and talking with you, and looking forward to seeing you soon.
It was a pleasure, Isabel. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
In there. All right.
Okay. Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you.